Who in the room has a degree in marketing? One person has a degree in marketing. Where'd you graduate from?
Michigan.
Okay, like Michigan State University?
No, University of Michigan.
University of Michigan. Okay, so we're going to try to cram 4 years worth of information that this lady learned. We're going to do it in an hour and a half.
It was a long time ago.
Okay. As we get started, this is more to help. You've got a copy of the PowerPoint presentations. I'm using it more to help guide me along. The first thing I always like to do is I always like to thank the New England Federal Credit Union. How many people in here are customers of New England Federal Credit Union? Great. That's wonderful. They are a great, great bank, and they do a wonderful job with these seminars of promoting them, don't they? It's called marketing, if you think about it. They do a great job in marketing the added services and the value add that they bring to their customers. So when you begin to think about marketing, think about all of the things that sometimes either banks or any business might do, and I tend to think of it as soft touching the customer. Okay? So I first certainly always want to congratulate New England Federal Credit Union for all the great work they do, especially at sponsoring these seminars. The other thing I want to do is just give you a quick commercial on SCORE. Has anybody worked with SCORE before with counseling assistance? Okay, great. So what SCORE is, it's a group of people who are mostly retired, and since I'm one of the few that's not, they love reminding me that I'm not. But it's a group of business people who have been usually very successful in their careers. They've held pretty significant positions, either as accountants, attorneys, retail people, and they are now retired, and it's our way of giving back to you free. Think of us as a sounding board of ideas and concepts. So if you're looking for any assistance in your business model, whatever it might be, you can go to the SCORE website. If you need advice on accounting, let us know in that, and we'll tag you up with one of the SCORE volunteers who's a specialist in accounting. It won't be me. I am not in accounting. Okay? If you're looking for someone who you might need help in sales or marketing, it would be me. Or if you are trying to put together a business plan, it might be me, and it might be many of us, because we've all tend to have designed and written business plans before. So we come from a very large, vast array of experience, and we're happy to provide this service to you totally free. Okay, so before we get started, I was starting to put this presentation together, and it's not something I do very often, but let me just give you a quick background on myself. So I've been in sales and marketing for 35 years, more on the sales side than the marketing side, but I tend to hold both reins. In the current company that I'm in, I am the director of sales and marketing for the company. I've owned two businesses. One was in the retail environment. My first 18 years after college was all retail experience, so I have a lot of retail experience. And I owned a chain of retail photo and hobby stores back in the 80s, back when we were still using film. Okay? Look at some of the young people who say, what is that? I still have a very expensive Olympus 35 millimeter camera with power zoom and the flash sitting in my closet. I keep saying to myself, why do I still have this?
It's retro. It's coming back, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it works great. And anyway, so I've got a lot of experience in retail sales. And then in the last 25 or so years, I've been in the telecommunications industry, working for businesses, and actually built my own telephone, high-speed internet, long distance, and local dial tone company. And we were marketing to businesses throughout all of Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, and that was our footprint. So we built that company from literally met at a Motel 6 in Concord, New Hampshire, the four of us. Started this business, and in the end we had built it up to a $50 million company funded by JP Morgan. But anyway, So I decided as we were putting this session together, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go onto the internet and I'm going to look up the definition of what marketing is. Because when you talk to people and you try to get a definition of what marketing is, everybody has a different idea of what it is. All right? And it's interesting that people who I've worked with in previous companies who were the marketing people, if you asked them to come out and go on sales calls, most of the time they broke out in a sweat and wanted nothing to do with selling. They wanted to do marketing. So I always found that kind of interesting. So the first definition I've got, and you guys have this page, marketing is traditionally the means by which an organization communicates to, connects with, and engages its target audience to convey the value of and ultimately sell its products and services. However, since the emergence of the digital media, in particular social media and technology innovations, it has increasingly become more about companies building deeper, more meaningful, and lasting relationships with the people that they want to buy their products or services from. Does anybody know when the internet was actually really starting to go? Not way back when somebody first thought about the concept, but when did it really start to take off? 10 years ago, that would have been 2006 or 2007. What else?
1999.
I got 1999 to 2000. It was actually the early 90s. Okay? The basic internet service was actually started in 1985. In 1985, I was working for a telecom company. We were headquartered here in Burlington, Vermont. For some of you that are as gray as I am, you might have heard of a company called Long Distance North. Anybody heard of them? Yep. Okay, I was the director of sales and marketing for Long Distance North. And it was really interesting at a time when, for those of you that are also have the same colored hair as I do, that was when AT&T was the only long-distance phone company in the United States, and the government broke that monopoly up, and so then became Sprint, and remember that company called MCI? Okay, and so at one point in time, Long Distance North, we had more business customers in the state of Vermont than AT&T, MCI, and Sprint combined because of all of the marketing stuff that we did, and it didn't cost us a lot. But anyway, in 1985, we were actually communicating with the president of our company because the president of our company lived in Israel. And we were sending emails to him back and forth. The problem was, in order to communicate with him, we had to batch them together as a group. So when I was sending him emails, we would number the Word document. So I had numbers 20 to 30. And all of my questions, everything I had, were numbered that way. And the secretary would get all of our questions together and send him one data dump. That's pretty archaic, huh? We thought we were cutting edge. So anyway, it wasn't really until 1993 that the internet really started to take off as we know it today. All right, here's another question for you. So at my company, we do a lot of monitoring of our internet access and our customers and where they're coming from. If you had to guess, what percentage of all the customers today that are hitting a company's website, I don't think it matters whether it's my company's or anybody else's companies, what percentage of the people hitting the website are hitting the website with their computer? Okay, so we got a 47% out there. What else we got? 20% are coming from computers, so that means 80% you think are coming from smart devices. Okay, what else we got? I feel like I'm at an auction. What else?
30%.
How much? 30% are coming from computers? Okay.
I was looking at our website and we're 40 smartphones, 60 computers.
Yep. We were looking at this data just Monday at our company. And what was interesting was I looked at it in 2015. In 2015, we were averaging 30% of the customers were coming to our website with a smart device. So 70% were still coming on their computers. As of last month, 48% are hitting our website with a smart device. Now, we don't know whether it's an iPhone or any type of a smartphone, or it could be an iPad. They all kind of fall in that same category. But that's pretty staggering. But if you think about it, you know, people tend to be using more and more of our smart devices rather than our computers to access the internet. You know, my wife doesn't have a computer. She uses everything with her iPad or her iPhone, okay? So as you start thinking about how do you market your company, you have to make sure whatever you're going to do on the website has to be, when you access it on your computer and how it looks, could be very different when you access it on your smart device and how does it work or react. If it doesn't work or react well, then people won't necessarily visit you because they'll get too frustrated and leave, okay? And how much time have you got for a person's attention span on a website?
3 seconds.
It's short. All right, definition 3. The management process through which goods and services move from concept to the customer. It includes the coordination of 4 elements called the 4 Ps of marketing. Identification, which is selection and development of the product. Determination of its price. Selection of a distribution channel to reach the customer's places, and the development and implementation of a promotional strategy. Now this third one is the one that I think best drills down into not only what is marketing, but what are the action steps you need to do to really begin to get traction going. In the end, why do we spend all of our time and money in marketing? What are we hoping to achieve? To get clients. Will marketing actually sell the product? No. Correct. It will not sell the product. It kind of might, but most of the time the customer is going to look at the product or service and they're going to end up having questions, and you have to be prepared to answer those questions. Okay? So what's more important in a profit and loss statement? Sales or profits? Profits? Spoken like a true marketer. How many people think profits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So how many we got for sales? Okay, so here's the question I pose. You can't have profits without sales. Can you? So sales is more important. How you manage that revenue stream to get to the bottom is how well you can manage your business. But sales is the most important thing, okay? And you could have the best idea, you could have the greatest concept, but if you can't sell it, you'll be in trouble. How many people in here have ever been in sales? Okay, good. All right. I think oftentimes the most important line that you have to think about: why does somebody want to buy from me? Or flipped differently, which I'm constantly reminding my own sales team about, what is the problem that the customer has that my company or my service or my product can solve? Okay? That's what you have to be thinking about all the time. All right? So do you have a clear idea of who your customers are? Do you have a clear idea of what are their issues or challenges? Okay, you may not. How many people are going to open up a retail store in here? No.
I have a seasonal one.
Okay. Sorry?
I have a seasonal
You have a seasonal store?
retail.
What is it?
Oakwood Farms and the Weed Road greenhouse business, horticulture greenhouse business.
Okay.
That's all retail.
And where is it?
6 Weed Road and North 128 in Essex.
Okay. All right. So just 2 people are in retail? 3? What's your retail business?
Toning accessories.
Oh, yes, we spoke last time. Right. I checked out your website. I did. I love retail. I'm one of those weird guys that loves going to the mall. Must be because I was in retail when I was a kid, and my father loved shopping too. All right. So what are the customers' issues or challenges, and how are you going to help solve those issues or challenges? Okay. Where are the customers located? Now, why do I want to know where the customers are located? In other words, you're in the boating business, right? This gentleman sells accessory equipment for people who are boaters.
Well, he doesn't want to be up on the mountains then, as a retailer.
No.
He needs to know the customer.
No, but his marketplace is all over the United States.
Yeah.
So when I say, where are the customers located, what are some of the things that I would start to think about if I wanted to try to do a marketing effort to his customers? Where's the number one place where his customers are located, if you think about the United States.
Coastal communities.
I'm sorry, where?
Coastal communities.
Coastal communities. You know what the biggest boating mecca is in the United States?
Is it in
Florida. I think there's more boats in Florida than there are cars. Anybody gone down to Miami, Fort Lauderdale? Every house has a boat in front of their house, right? Okay, so when you start thinking about marketing, you got to think about, well, where am I going to go? How am I going to advertise to those customers? You have to think about where are my customers, okay? How am I going to reach them? So this gentleman will start thinking about, well, what type of magazines might the boaters be reading? Might he put an ad in those particular magazines? Or is there a way that he could plug into resources who have boaters? Perhaps he can partner with retail boating shops. Buy a new boat and here's a coupon to an accessory shop. There's lots of spins you could start to think about it. By the way, I'm very big into partnering with everybody and anybody that I can who somehow is related to what it is that I do or whatever it is that I sell. I have found it to be the easiest and fastest way to generate sales. And I'm not big at spending advertising dollars. You know what our advertising budget is at our company, and I'm in charge of it. Any ideas? Our company, I'll give you an idea. Our company generates about, this year we're going to generate about $50 million in sales.
I wouldn't be comfortable spending more than 10% of that of projected revenue on marketing, so I'd say about $5 million.
Anybody else?
50,000. Jeez. $5,000?
$5,000. Maybe 10. Maybe 10. That's about it. Okay? All right. So, what and where are your customers doing their research? You might want to think about that. Where are the customers going to do their own research of whatever it is that they want to buy? So in the case of our boating guy, what places would a boater go to do his research? Boats Magazine, boats.com, blogs. There could be blogs that he could get plugged into, West Marine, okay? Lots of places. And the one thing that a lot of folks tend to forget about, who is your competition? Have you ever thought about who your competition really is? And why would I want to buy from you instead of your competition? So somebody else had their hand up. Who else is struggling against a competitor? Anybody? Yes, sir.
Well, not struggling, but in the neck of the woods, I have people like Clausen's, Agways, Four Seasons, Bucket Full of Posies, and several other greenhouse or perennial nursery operators, probably within a 15-mile radius. And there's always more or smaller operators opening up down Route, be it 15, down Route 7. There's always a little operation just popping up out of the blue all the time. And I've noticed customer base that has been with me with years disappearing. And there's only so much you can appease them. And then the shortcomings, one has to imagine at some point so many dealers will go to another business because they're tired of the same model. They want to see something new, or I or one of my employees fell short, so let's say ticked them off, disappointed, or came up short on inventory or product that they wanted, or my range of products shrunk because my supplier availability of given products like perennial shrinking, and people wanted more perennials will go to a larger operation with a bigger budget and more square footage to be able to carry that broader range that I had done in years past successfully. But you need suppliers. And if you don't have a supplier providing you with a product at a good price margin, scale is going to beat you out. And that's where, yes, I have quality. Yes, I have dedicated customers. That's not enough to grow the business. And all these other operators on the outside are pulling away. There's no question about it. And if I come up short, or if I displease one of my customers who's been loyal, they're gonna disappear. They're gonna be tempted to go to another operation that has that sparkle that perhaps I had in times past, where my employee quality level entice those people to come back.
Okay, let me throw out some thoughts. What oftentimes happens is we get so caught up in our own business that we can't see the forest for the trees. So here's what I would suggest you do. You need some ideas. You need some fresh ideas. And you know who the best people are to give you your fresh ideas? Your own customers. Okay? I bet you could think within 5 minutes, you could come up with probably 10 to 15 names of customers that come to your shop quite often. Could you not? You should host them one evening at your shop. A little wine, some cheese, I'll come over. No. And you should ask them, I've asked you to come over, I want, and be prepared, do like a little market research. Why do you come to my shop? Why do you like it here? What is it that we do that makes you keep coming back over and over again? They're going to start giving you all of the reasons that you need to use in a marketing or advertising campaign that sets you apart from Lowe's and Home Depot and all the other big chains, Clausen's, okay? And you could begin to come up with unique ideas. Like one idea I came up with, when I was in the camera store business, and we were selling against, there was a chain of stores, it was kind of like Best Buy today, okay? And they had, it was a version, they were out of Boston, and they were huge. They're not around anymore, but they were selling, you know, stereo equipment and TVs, and they looked like Lowe's, they looked like Best Buy. And they would sell cameras much cheaper than I could sell them for, because I couldn't buy them at the same rate that they were buying them for. So I had to come up with some way of convincing the customer to buy their camera from me, even though I was more expensive by, I don't remember what it might have been $50 at the time, okay? And what we ended up doing was we ended up building more of a value into the purchase. Okay, and the way we did that, we said to our customers, when you buy a camera from us, we are not going to be the cheapest guy in town. So we're saving you a trip. We're not as cheaper than the other guy. But what we are is we're really good at helping you figure out how to use that camera. So when you buy your camera from us, we will include 4 one-hour training sessions on how to use that camera in a customized workshop. What did it cost me?
Nothing.
Nothing. What was the value to the customer? Huge.
$50.
Well, yeah, $50 really, right? But if I can help him use his $500 camera, which back in the 80s, that was a lot of money. If I can help him use that camera more efficiently, and he starts to really create great pictures, what's he or she going to do?
Buy more stuff.
Exactly. And what else are they going to do?
Tell their friends.
Tell their, oh, they all got that one. Tell their friends. And what did that cost me? Nothing.
Before he told the story, I was thinking to him that he could have like a class, like, you know, how to build a nice little, you know, a vase or some kind of thing using the flowers that.
Exactly. You could, I bet you could come up with workshop after workshop after workshop. Okay? So every time you buy $100 worth of stuff, you get a coupon worth 3 hours worth of class time. And you have training classes going all the time. Because it's one thing to buy the plant, and it's another thing to put it in the ground and hope it makes it, right? Oops, I gotta stop doing that. All right. I know. Okay, so who's your competition? And then the biggest line, why you or your company? So why should somebody buy from you? And I'm just going to tell you that I have learned more from our customers than I've ever learned from anything else. I'll share this idea with you. I was in my late 20s. I was living in New Jersey. It's interesting, I think of these things and I date myself. It was back when you didn't pump your own gas. You pulled up to the gas station and someone would come out from the building and pump the gas for you. Who does not remember that? So anyway, I had just moved to New Jersey from Texas, and so I stopped at this gas station because it was literally outside my neighborhood, and I'd go to that gas station all the time. And I noticed that it was always the same guy that came out, and every time he'd get there and I'd roll down the window, he'd say, yep, I said, just fill it up. He goes, okay, listen, pop that hood. He wouldn't say, can I check your oil? He'd say, pop that hood. He would tell me, pop that hood. I'm not going to say why, so I'd pop the hood. Every time I went there, I'd pop the hood, because that's what he told me to do. He would check the oil, he'd check the radiator fluid, he would then shut the hood, he would check the windshield wipers, and he'd walk around the car looking at the tires to see if any of them were low. Well, this went on for like 3 months. And I finally one day I said, you know, you do an awesome job. I'd like to talk to the owner and tell him how great of a job you're doing. He said, I am the owner. I was flabbergasted. Would you expect the owner to be out there pumping gas? I didn't. And the guy said to me, he says, this, in complimenting what you said, this is where the action is. I ask you to pop that hood, I tell you to pop the hood, because I'm checking to see how dirty your oil is. I'm looking at your fan belts to see if they're getting worn, because I'm going to keep sending work into my shop and keep my mechanic guys going. And it's hard to find somebody that can really do this part of the job. And this is how I generate sales. Okay? All right, like I see, I haven't pushed the button, so now I'll push it. All right. So here are the key elements of this branding class. What do you think of when you say Costco? Yeah. Huh?
Bulk.
Bulk? All right. Bulk, what is it?
Value.
Value. What do you mean by value?
Something that's worth the cost. That I'm willing to pay for it and what I get back for it.
Right.
As my wife will oftentimes say, we'll go to Costco to get something. We'll use limes. Of course, we use a lot of them in the summertime for the gin and tonics. But, you know, you go there and you buy a bag of limes, and there's like 20 limes in a bag. Well, it's good. In the wintertime, we might go through them in the summertime, but in the wintertime, it's going to last a long time, right? So sometimes I'll just go to Shaw's and I'll get what I need because I only need 3 or 4. She says, yeah, but you know, the cost per item was more. I said, yeah, but I only need 20. They'll last us forever.
Throw some away.
Yeah, my father-in-law has 3 years worth of toilet paper in the basement because they were running a sale. Okay, so, damn, I hit that damn button. All right, what do you think of when I say healthy living?
Organic.
What was it? What was it? Infusion. Okay. High-end products.
Wealthy living.
Wealthy living.
Wealthy. Trust funders are wealthy living.
Okay?
Organic.
Organic. Isn't she nice? She's got that marketing thing going there. What else? Anything else about healthy living? I'm sorry?
Exercise.
Exercise? You think of healthy living as exercise?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm talking about the retail store. You've never heard of healthy living. Okay, so they're not doing a very good job getting your attention, are they?
He doesn't have enough money to shop.
It's a retail store just past the University Mall on Dorset Street. You know where Trader Joe's is?
Yeah.
Right across the street. You know, that's one store I haven't been in.
Oh.
No, I don't know why.
That's healthy living.
That's healthy living. Yes, ma'am.
You know what's interesting? When I heard about Trader Joe's opening, I thought, right across from Healthy Living, they're going to hurt each other, but in some ways they do very different things.
They do.
And the atmospheres are very different as well. And I think they probably ultimately enhance each other because they do different things in some ways.
Guess what? The person that owns Healthy Living owns Trader Joe's. Those are franchises. Those retail stores are franchise operations. She figured they wanted to come to town, so the story I was told, she figured she might as well buy it because she can control what's in the store. Wow, that was a great idea. Okay, so here's a question. Who shops at Healthy Living in here? Okay. Now, someone said Wealthy Living. Wasn't it you, sir?
No, I said trust funders.
Trust funders. Kind of the same thing. Okay, so that's a very expensive store, right? I have been in there. I don't buy a lot in there. But it's very expensive. Okay, I could go shopping there and spend twice as much. Yet they're very successful, hugely successful. So keep that in mind that it's not always price, it's value. Costco is successful. You know, this one also bothers me. If Sears charged us $50 membership a year for the pleasure of shopping in Sears, would we pay it? Oh, of course not. Well, then how the hell is Costco getting away with it? Because we pay $50 a year membership fee to get into the store, right? Do we not? Well, we think we get it back. Yeah, did you see the size of their food carts? That's Wealthy Living. Anybody can anybody leave Costco without spending at least $100? Well, did you ever notice, next time you're in, if you've noticed, what is the average price of the items as you walk through? It's on average $20. Rarely is it ever less. They've positioned all the products to be somewhere around 20. I mean, sometimes you might find something for, especially in the snack aisle there, $8.99, $9.99, but they try to keep everything as much as they can close to that $20 price point.
Yes,
I hadn't had a membership there for a long time, and I got access to a free membership for a year.
Yeah.
And my financial advisor here, I think she was scared when I told her I was going to be going into Costco. Because, you know, I have some friends who refer to it as the $200 store. So my first time going into Costco in years, I spent $22.78.
And you were proud of yourself.
I was smug.
You walked out with a bag of limes?
No, the bag of limes are actually running around $8.99. They really do. All right, so we've done healthy. How about Lunig's? French. Have you ever been to Lunig's? How long have you lived in Vermont?
7 years.
7 years, okay. Lunig's. French.
Music. Music. Sometimes they
Yeah.
Good food.
Early bird special.
Early bird special. What's the early bird special?
It's the dinner is so much cheaper. It's you gotta eat before 5 or 5:30.
Yeah.
$5.45.
Good deal.
$5.45, $39.95 gets you a glass of wine. Does it get you a glass of wine? Two entrees and 2 desserts. Yep. But you had to get there by 5:45. Yes. Atmosphere and service. Is it the cheapest restaurant in town? No.
But it's consistent.
But it's very consistent. The food quality is always on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. What would you rate it as? Pretty close to 5 most of the time, right? Okay.
I don't think when you go out to dinner, you're typically looking for, you're looking for good food, obviously, but it's typically the service. So I'm assuming they have good service. I've never been there, but, you know, you can be expensive, but as long as you feel like you're being pampered.
Yep. Yep. And right. Okay. Motel 6.
We'll leave the light on for you.
We'll leave the light on for you. Yes, sir. Cheap. Okay. Anything else? So as you start thinking of all of these places, you have to think about their brand. Think about how they advertise themselves. How do they promote themselves? You know, Costco promotes themselves on giving you a significant value for the same dollar. Okay? That's what they promote themselves on. You know, you can oftentimes don't get. You go in there one time and buy something, you could go in there a month later to try to get it again and you can't find it, right? So, but we put up with that because we'll find something else. So we tend to get good value, but we also get good value for our dollar. I think they've got some of the best meats. You know, when we're gonna have a big barbecue, we want steaks, we go to Costco, right? They're not necessarily that much cheaper per pound, all right? So when you think of healthy living, think about how they've branded themselves and the customers that they're going after. Who is their target audience? By the way, For those of you that go into healthy living, I don't know if you've noticed this, as you're walking out, there's a big wall, and there's all kinds of stuff stuck on the wall, right? It looks like one of those community billboard kind of things. And they're always running classes on how to cook different meals, promoting their products or services, of course. So that's one of the ways in which they help improve and keep their customers loyal to them. All right, the last one, Toscanos. Who has never heard of Toscanos? Really? I intentionally picked that one for a reason. That's the reaction I was hoping to get. Who's been to Toscanos? The front row is on their game. Okay? So what is Toscanos? It is family owned. Yep, you'll find the husband always greeting you at the door, or the wife. Most of the time she's in the kitchen, but sometimes she does come out, make sure her husband's still doing his job probably. And the son's at the bar. Family run restaurant. You got his realty license? He'll be back. He'll still work it at night. Have you say you've been there?
Yeah. So
what do you think of with Toscanos?
Well, it's a great restaurant.
Okay, so here's where this great restaurant is. It is a really good restaurant. It's an Italian restaurant in the village of Richmond. So as you get right into the village, and you get to the Four Corners, you take a right, and it's right there on the left. And you have to call for reservations. And it's not expensive. An average entree is anywhere from $20 to $28. And it's a really great Italian restaurant. Really good. But not many of you know about it. So, how well is Toscanos done at promoting and marketing themselves, apparently?
Pretty darn good. You have to be on the waiting list.
Yeah, but no, you know, I just took a survey of this room, and there were only like 5 of there's 4 here that knew of the place. So, oh yeah, 5. So, you know, that's not very good. Everybody knew Lunix. So, I'm going back to this next slide though. Why you? What do you bring to the table so that they, the customers, want you or want what you offer? I can't drill that into you enough. My sales team is forever trying to send out email messages to vendors that we're trying to partner with to provide financing programs, and they never in the email will tell the customer what it is we're going to do for them that will help them make more sales. They'll list all kinds of features of our company, but who cares? You're expecting the customer to be able to take a feature and link it to the benefit statement to them. Okay, I'm going to pick on somebody. If I said to you that this car you're looking at, I might have picked on the wrong guy. This car that you're looking to buy has a 450 horsepower turbocharged motor. But it's just a fact. It doesn't say anything, okay? But what if I said to you, I said, this car that you're looking at has an extremely powerful engine. Have you ever been in a car and you were on the road and there was a truck in front of you and you wanted to pass him in your Toyota Tercel here and you couldn't because you didn't have enough power? With this car, you can get around any car within 3 seconds. That's why this is such a great car. So I've talked about the benefit of the product, not the feature of the product. And that's what I'm constantly trying to coach people on in your marketing. You want to always be talking about what's in it for them with powerful statements of how you're going to help them solve their problems. So this gentleman here, sir, he's going to be launching a new publication, right? Right. And it's going to be in April, you were hoping? Yeah. So what problem? So it's a new publication. He's competing against the Burlington Free Press. That shouldn't be hard. Okay, and of course, 7 days, and then the local free newspapers that we get once in a while, right? So your audience, you're going after a specific audience, right? Okay, what's the audience you're going after for the group?
Homeowners only in South Burlington.
Only homeowners, but weren't you also targeting homeowners that have a house of 300,000 or greater?
Yeah, they're kind of basing it on the 300,000 on.
Okay, and you're going to be going out selling advertising because that's the only way you're going to make money. So what problem do you solve for the advertiser of this retail store that would make her want to advertise in your publication instead of 7 Days or instead of the Burlington Free Press or the local free newspaper that goes around?
Well, one thing, we're low page count.
We're
So, low page count.
What does that mean for her?
Well,
Perfect, thank you very much.
7 Days, for example, is probably 80 to 100 pages. So you put an ad in there. Do you see it or not? Ours are 15 to 30 pages.
Okay, stop. So hang on. You have not given me anything that got me excited to buy you. Gave me lots of stats. So let me reverse it. Let me reverse it for you. I'm going to be the sales guy now. And you're the store owner. I'm sorry, what was your name?
John.
John, have you ever advertised in 7 Days? No, say yes. Okay. I'll keep cueing you all along, okay? Because you made a point of using the 7 days in a comparison. So you say, yes, I've advertised in the 7 days. And how long did it take you to find your ad?
How long did it take?
You really had to hunt through the paper because there's a lot of stuff in there, right? So one of the benefits of our publication, it will be limited to 15 pages. Okay, see how I built the story and I began to build the value and what's in it for him? That's what you have to do in marketing. That's also what you have to do when you sell stuff. Okay? So I want you to always be focusing on what is it that you offer and how do you promote it, and don't get caught up in selling the features and the benefits. Just tell the bottom line. Okay? And there's going to be a class coming up. When's the 30-second elevator pitch? Anybody know what a 30-second elevator pitch is?
Yeah.
Right? What's the definition of a 30-second elevator pitch?
You got 30 seconds to sell somebody, so they say, yep, I want to buy your product.
Or I'm interested, tell me more. That's really what an elevator pitch is. Oh, that sounds really interesting, tell me more. Okay? Now, do you really have 30 seconds? You have what?
15.
15 is more like it. So I like to keep the elevator pitch to like 15 seconds. So I'd like you guys to all take about 4 minutes. On this slide, I don't know what the slide number is, there's a page, it says create a benefit list. Take 5 minutes and think about, I've got 5 lines there, but you might struggle with 1 or 2. Try to come up with a couple of why should I buy from you statements, benefit statements, not feature statements, and then we'll have some fun with it. All right. What do you got? Great, we got a great volunteer. So what's the business though? Declutter me.
So it's about helping people get out from under too much stuff.
Okay.
So it's about getting out from under too much stuff. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I only wrote 4 benefits. One is lighten the load, create new healthy habits, because I help people sort of like, okay, if you've got all this paper, why is it accumulating? Sort of dealing with that and keeping clutter from returning.
Okay.
Make them feel better, because a lot of people have a wide range of emotions about needing my services, ranging from just bewilderment and embarrassment to shame, and I really mean shame, and lowering their stress.
Lowering stress. Okay. Does everybody think, does that help describe the benefits or reasons why we want to buy from her? All right. Okay, thank you. What else?
But does it, do you consider them to be benefits?
They're borderline close.
That's a little vague.
I like where they're going. So what's the first one?
Lighten the load.
So if you walked up to me in an elevator and you say, hey, I said to you, hey, what do you do? I said, I help people lighten the load.
What I generally say is, I've heard that you should be able to describe your business in 7 words. So I say, help people get out from under too much stuff. Maybe it's more than 7 words, but that basically is it.
You know, I'm gonna give you a little trick.
Okay.
And who was the lady that taught the 30-second elevator class 2 years ago?
Vicki,
Vicki?
she's coming, she's
Is she going to be doing that class? She does an awesome job. And I'm going to tell you, anytime I'm in any kind of a class, I always learn something. And she taught me something that has stuck with me in this elevator thing that I use constantly. And she'll teach it to you this way. She'll pitch, use the elevator pitch, but flip it as a question. So for example, have you ever looked at your desk and saw mountains of paper and then cleaned it off? How did you feel after that? I felt so relieved. That's what my business does. Okay? So that's how you can begin, but you needed the benefit lines to come up with a question to ask. Okay? So that's how you can begin to use each one of those. So I think all of them are really good, and you can actually build a number of elevator pitches from those 4 benefit statements. I think, no, they would think they were good.
One thing I hear when I often have telephone conversations with, yes, actual telephone conversations, like what you were saying before, with prospective clients before we work together. And I tell them one of the things I hear from people a lot is, I was looking for that. But then when we're working together, I often ask people, do you feel lighter? And everyone says yes.
Yes, sir.
This is a marketing pitch too. Because I consult in business excellence. So the benefits I provide is your company will have consistent and timely output that meets or exceeds the customer requirements. Eliminates unknown value-add activity, reduces cycle time, it makes me more competitive, and makes your operation in a consistent manner.
Okay. So what you want to do is when you pitch that to somebody, you should ask them if that motivates them to want to hear more. Because what it begins to sound like sometimes, it begins to sound like a list of features. Okay, you want to try to build a little bit more power statements into is how is it going to give them a bigger payoff? That's what you're always trying to figure out. Whatever it is your business does, it will give the customer a bigger payout. All right? All right, I want to get to the question. So the power message is, your message, I believe, has to be 20 seconds to grab the customer's attention. Always, always, always use benefit statements talking about what's in it for them. Stay away from fact or feature statements, which is very easy to do. Okay, and always think about the problems your company is solving for somebody else. All right? So here are some examples of some power marketing statements. Are you frustrated with hiring people? Does your company struggle with HR issues? What company doesn't struggle with HR issues? Do you struggle with managing your cash flow? A lot of people struggle with managing their cash flow. Okay? Is your internet struggling? So say I'm an internet salesperson, right? Is your internet struggling to meet your company demands? Does your website generate adequate sales? I have gotten emails from 4 different companies just in the last 24 hours trying to sell me their web services. And nobody ever asked me if my website is generating enough sales leads for me. Okay? So those are some examples of how to build what's in it for them or powerful benefit statements. It's really trying to tie in what it is you're going to deliver with these statements. All right, so I'm just going to quickly tie this thing up. So where to market your company. There's all types of advertising channels, sales partnerships, workshops, business location. For those of you that are going to set up a retail shop, let me give you some of the reasons why you might want to be in the mall. You're going to give me all the reasons why you don't want to be in a university mall. And the number one reason you're going to tell me is because it's too expensive. Right? Because it is. It's the most expensive retail spot in Burlington or on Church Street. So I had one person who was opening up a retail shop about 7 years ago, and they opened it up down on Dorset Street, behind those stores on Dorset Street on the left as you're heading towards the high school, in the back alley. And I said, do you have any idea how much money you're going to have to spend in advertising just to tell people where you are, let alone what it is that you do? So oftentimes when you're thinking of retail locations, I'm going to suggest that sometimes you might want to actually think about the location, because when you put a location in the University Mall, how much advertising dollars do you have to spend? None. Because you got all those people walking by going, oh, here's a new store, I haven't seen that one. I shared this with somebody in the hallway just before we started. Do you happen to notice where all the car dealerships are? Together. Why? When the Ford dealership runs a sale, and we're driving down Shelburne Road to go to the Ford dealership, I drive by the Audi dealership, I drive by the Volkswagen dealership, I drive by the Toyota dealership, I drive by the Dodge dealership, and they're all playing off of one another, intentionally. Okay? So oftentimes, even though the cost for a rental space might be higher than being in the back alley on Dorset Street, it will drive a lot of business into your store, and you don't have to spend a lot of money in advertising. What is the cost of an ad in the Burlington Free Press, quarter page? Roughly.
Oh, man, I don't know. I know some of them.
More than $900.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It was $400 to just advertise a job.
exactly. A little quarter page ad like this to run an ad in the Burlington Free Press for a job is, yeah. Yes, ma'am. Oh, $1,200 to run a quarter page ad in the Burlington Free Press once. Okay.
3 days of it.
Oh, you get 3 days?
Thursday, a Saturday, and a Sunday run.
Oh, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. We do a lot of marketing in our company through email programs. A lot. And it doesn't cost us a lot.
MailChimp or?
We use Constant Contact.
Oh.
It interfaces with our CRM platform, and we're able to blast emails out, and we get all kinds of statistical data. But that's one of the cheapest ways. That is where we spend 95% of all of our marketing efforts is in email campaigns. Okay? And I'm going to end with this slide, then we'll open up for questions. The last slide says advertising channels. There's face-to-face selling, there's phone prospecting, there's email programs, there's direct mail. We don't do any direct mail. It's really expensive to do direct mail, and it just gets thrown out. There's a challenge about emailing campaigns too. I mean, we are getting so inundated with email campaigns that delete, 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 delete. So that's a challenge. We've been fortunate enough, though, that we've got an open rate right now of around 35%, which is huge. Yeah, the average open rate, I think, runs around 10 to 15%.
20 is considered good.
Yep. Okay, so these are some of the places where you can go. So let me just stop here.
Yeah, we probably only have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions.
I was considering the neighborhood forum has a saturation of homes in the Chittenden County here.
Yep.
The rate perhaps isn't too terribly high, but again, based on their feedback is you have to use it several weeks consecutively in a row in order to really realize your dollar value. So you're gonna be spending several hundreds of dollars minimum just to walk in the door. And of course, there's a lot of homeowners in my neck of the woods that belong to it. People are always signing up, and local areas as far as in my neck of the woods. Have you had any feedback or any perspective on if it's worth spending $800-900 starting point?
A month?
Well, let's say if my campaign, my busiest would be 1st of May through June, those are for 5 weeks. Or if you went from the end of April through to first week of June, would be probably about 80-90% of the income.
Do you have the email addresses of all your customers?
No.
Do you have any?
No, we have not. We have not dug into that.
You hit him. If you had the emails of all of your customers, you could start doing an email campaign to them, and you could say, bring a friend, which is in the neighborhood, and treat them to something.
The wouldn't say my husband would shoot me if he knew I was spending this much money as he
Exactly.
you are.
Don't bring your husband, bring your other neighborhood female friend. Okay? That's what I would do. But let me ask a question. Hang on. How many people use the front porch forum? Really? Well, there's your answer. I'm not a front porch forum guy, but the majority of this room is. So it might make sense to do some test runs, but you should have every single customer's email address because there's so much you could do. One more question, sir.
Yeah, I want to hear more about how you do partnering well, since this is obviously something you're very good at.
I try to partner with people who might be selling similar products or products that my product complements theirs. Okay, so for example, when I was in the telephone business, we were selling telephone services. I partnered with the guy who was selling telephone systems, because we didn't sell the hardware, we just sold the service. I would partner with the people who were selling computer systems, because they're putting computers into the businesses and they're going to need internet service, so I'd partner with them. Okay? So I always tried to partner with other people who were selling similar products that complemented what my product did.
Did you make a formal arrangement with them, or is it just an
Oh yeah, I'd go and knock on the door and say, hey, I think we can be sharing leads, guys, back and forth. Who is your top salesperson? I want to give them some leads. I never joined any of these clubs where the lead swapping clubs, because those lead swapping clubs become nothing more than a social circle. So I just created my own, and I'd meet once a week at 7:30 in the morning for 30 minutes tops, and we'd meet at Dunkin' Donuts and we'd do whatever we needed to do, and we were all gone. Yes, sir.
So to tie in with that, I have a birthday party business. So one of the partnerships I could possibly do is, I'll say My Little Cupcake. Somebody books a birthday party through me, My Little Cupcake gives them $5 off of 24 cupcakes or something.
Right.
Or
Right, so start partnering with people that can bring leads to you. How about all the photographers? I bet photographers are invited to come to these birthday parties to take pictures.
we take the pictures?
Right, but there are other people that might be hired to go do the pictures. So professional photographers are being brought in to do a picture at a birthday party, and they bring you in to do everything else. So you just don't do the picture part of that, but you got the rest of the business. Okay.
I believe in entrepreneurship.
Small businesses, I believe,
Help weave people and communities together.
I believe in the American dream.
What's even better than dreams is making a dream come true.
SCORE is a nonprofit organization where we provide free business consulting services to people who want to start a business or already in business.
I believe one person can make a difference.
I am that person.
I am that person.
I am a SCORE mentor.
I am a SCORE volunteer.
What do you believe in?
Do you have a gift to share?
Small business owners need you.
To show them, to give them ideas, to encourage them.
I do what I do because watching other people succeed gives me great joy.
Our client success is our success.
It's like watching your children or grandchildren succeed.
Share your success.
Volunteer your expertise. You've got it. Share it.
Volunteer now at SCORE.org.
Volunteer your expertise
at SCORE.org.